Premier Racing Setups is the longest running setup shop on iRacing. Our monthly subscription options start as low as $20 a month. We offer setups for dirt oval, asphalt oval, and road racing, covering a wide range of cars and skill levels. Built and tested by top-tier sim racers, this isn't just a business, it's a community of competitive drivers. If you want to better your iRacing experience, head over to PremierRacingSetups.com today. And remember, if you don't get one, you're going to chase one.
Bowling brings people together.
Right down the middle. You got it. Uh-oh. Good job.
See what you can do, man.
Oh. Wait.
That's a strike right there.
Woo!
Connect with family and friends. Go bowling.
Premier Racing Setups is the longest running setup shop on iRacing. Our monthly subscription options start as low as $20 a month. We offer setups for dirt oval, asphalt oval, and road racing, covering a wide range of cars and skill levels. Built and tested by top-tier sim racers, this isn't just a business, it's a community of competitive drivers. If you want to better your iRacing experience, head over to PremierRacingSetups.com today. And remember, if you don't get one, you're going to chase one.
Well, good evening, race fans, and welcome to round number 2 for this year's North-South Racing's Late Model Stock Tour, presented by Mortensen Auto Repair. Mortensen Auto Repair partners with the Bumper to Bumper Network to provide comprehensive auto service on basic maintenance and complex repairs. Kyle and his team provide efficient, kind, and reasonably priced services to residents in the Brooklyn, Wisconsin area. Call 608-455-3621 to schedule an appointment today. RC2 Graphic Solutions, your events, our designs. Zoofab Garage, located in Indiana. Stop by and see Dustin and the gang to get all your car upgrades installed. SimRacerHub.com, where leagues keep it organized. Arbor Systems, J&D Farms, and Mad Plowin', all presenting sponsors of the 2026 Late Model Stock Series, which is live here tonight from the Hickory Motor Speedway for the Ridge Runner 125. And we bring in my good friend, man from the north, a hockey finalist, Kelly Dahl.
Yeah, I didn't even go to college, so I don't even know where you got that from, but we are here down at the Hickory Motor Speedway, a very uniquely shaped track. Reminds me actually a little bit of my local short track, where it's a bit tighter on one end and then a much more open corner on the far side. But the big difference is Hickory has very, very short straightaways, so it is going to be tough for these drivers to set up a pass. Qualifying and our redraw is going to be huge, and those drivers that got EOLs after the results of last week's race will have a very tough time fighting their way up through the field.
That they will, as we take a look at our race advance, here brought to us by SimRacerHub.com. And you can see right there, Kelly, a oval. The back stretch, kind of like a dog leg. I wouldn't say you necessarily get fully straight on that back stretch from turn 2 to turn number 4. 125 laps in here. No tire limit. 50% fuel. I was walking around the garage area this afternoon talking with these teams. I think fuel, they might be able to make it with a few yellow flags if that were to fall. Cautions are about 5 projected for tonight's race here. An average time, about just under 3/4 of an hour. Well, Kelly, this racetrack, like you said, alluded to, very, very fast, high banked. We're going to see multiple grooves here. And right now we got 21 of the best late model stock drivers out here to do battle for the Ridge Runner 125. Last week's winner, Justin Coleman. He's going to have to start shotgun on the field with the shotgun rule. How fast will he be able to make it through the field, or is he going to get caught up in someone else's mess? Another driver going to the back of the field here tonight, regardless of how they qualify, will be Brandon Atkinson in that 72 car. They hit that incident limit last week there. Atkinson did. How tough is that going to be for them here tonight?
As I said, I think it's going to be tough to pass here. There may be multiple lines that might form here, but with how short these straights are, you don't really have much space set up a pass. And like you said, that back straight isn't really straight. You may be straightening up your wheel for half a second before you're already starting to turn into the into turn 3.
Okay, you see these cars here. We're getting warmed up here. Just about 2 minutes left in their happy hour session. A jam-packed stands here at Hickory. And this racetrack, relatively new to the sim with the last couple years here on the iRacing platform, and quickly became a driver's favorite. I think you're going to have to watch for the exit of turn number 2 here tonight. And I believe turn number 4 seems to be the trouble spots here at Hickory. It's going to be a good one, I do believe, Kelly. But, I mean, last week's race, if you missed it, what a race that was to start the season out at the Irwindale Raceway out in California. We made the long trek back to the East Coast here to Hickory for another star-studded night, 125 laps here tonight, as this is round 2 of 10 for this year's late model stock tour. And right now in practice, Dylan Connor, the fastest man in town, over Dustin Shepard, Brandon Elvis, Gary Eschen, and a newcomer to the season, the number 80 of Christopher Smith. That is your top 5 here in practice. Kelly, what's your keys to getting the victory lane here tonight if you can get through that redraw?
Yeah, it's of course going to be the qualifying, getting into that redraw, and then just keeping your car safe and clean. It is a very tight track. There's not a lot of space to run, and it can really catch you out if you're coming through one of these tight turns, coming onto the straightaway, and suddenly there's 3 cars sideways in front of you. So it is going to be tough to keep the car clean, and that is going to take a little bit of luck and a little bit of track awareness tonight.
Definitely going to do that. I don't know how much tires will help you. We've seen it in the past. Tires can be key. If you get into trouble, you come down pit road, put some Mr. Feelgoods on your race car. But I think if you have the track position, it's going to be key. I'm going to be really interested, though, Kelly, top or bottom when it comes to the Mad Plowing Choose Cone here tonight. Which lane do we think is going to be the best? I'm going to say on the restarts, I think you're going to want that bottom, but we know turns 1, you could really roll it outside of the speedway pretty well as we get ready to go here to Al's Speed Shop. Fast time qualifying, getting ready to roll out onto the racetrack.
Yeah, waiting to see who's going to be our first driver to take to the track. Everyone lined up here, ready to go. 5 minutes they've got on the clock to set some laps. A couple of drivers have brought their car to pit road, and Scott Negus is going to be the first one to roll out onto the racetrack. Josh Cole going to be out there along with him. And I believe Gary Eschen and Dan Janjanin also going to be out setting the early laps here.
Yeah, they are to get coming off the turn number 4. Green flag in the air for the 55 of Scott Negus, the Blue Oval Racing entry. Here for the Mortensen Auto Repair Late Model Stock Division. Lap number 1 going to go into the books, and Scott Negus is going to go top of the board over the 23 of Gary Eschen. As time starts to flurry in, we got top 3 cars on the clock so far. Lap number 2 for the 55 is going to be just a little bit slower for Scott. So lap number 1. How about Justin Coleman going to the top of the board? Now Brandon Elvis with a quick time of 14:462.
Yeah, recently we've been seeing that the second lap has been the faster lap, but so far tonight it is the first lap. And as I say that, Justin Coleman improves his time. 14.473 cannot beat Brandon Elvis, who does not go faster on his second lap. Adam Gable is another one of these drivers putting in his first lap here, coming across the line for his second lap, waiting to see what that time is going to be rolling in. It's going to be a 14.608, good enough for sixth place at the moment. And a new driver to the top of the board, Brandon Atkinson, 14.438.
Yeah, 438 for Brandon Atkinson. Remember, he'll have to go to the tail, will not be able to be part of the J&D Farms top 8 redraw so far. But qualifying points on the line as Brandon Troyer comes across the line. Put lap number 1 in the books for the 36 of Troyer. And it looks like Troyer might have had some trouble on lap number 1. Can he get a time? This time, a new look for the 36 with that Ford Mustang. It's a little bit loose through turns 3 and 4. And Troyer going to go 12th quick with a 15.108.
Christopher Smith now coming around turns 3 and 4 on his first lap here. And his time is going to be a 14.494. Good enough for 4th fastest at the moment. Rodney Huntoon and Jeff Bergen are out on the racetrack now as Christopher Smith comes in and completes his second lap. See if he will improve. Waiting for that time to come in and not seeing anything. So he may have tagged the wall at some point in that lap.
It is possible. Up next is the GMRC car number 12 of Rodney Huntoon, the driver out of Vermont. Rolls through 3 and 4. Running that middle to higher groove there. Lap number 1 for Huntoon is, looks like he might have tapped the wall, Kelly. Lap number 2 is going to be it for Huntoon if he wants to try to be a part of today's J&D Farms top 8 redraw. And he gets a little bit loose off the corner, and Huntoon going to go 13th quick currently.
It looks like Dylan Connor's first lap is going to be a 14.968, so maybe trying a slow lap here, seeing if he can get a faster second lap. Same with Bryan Hacker, 14.819. Scott Austin and Jeff Bergen are going quick, and here comes Dylan Connor, top of the board, 14.398 for the 90. Yeah, it is absolutely blowing the rest of the field out of the water.
Bryan Hacker, oh boy, Kelly, a green car on the racetrack. That's never good.
Yeah, some say that's bad luck, but it's good enough for 5th place right now for Bryan Hacker, 14.483. That at least gets him into the top 8 redraw, and that's all you really need to do to have a chance at the pole position. And looks like we may be finished qualifying here. The only car to not take the track right now is the 73 of Robbie Clavey, who may be performing race control duties here tonight. So if things stand as they are right now, Dylan Connor will be taking home the Al Speed Shop Fast Time Award with a 14.398.
That he will, and the last driver to make it into tonight's J&D Farms top 8 redraw will be Gary Eschen with car number 23 as we talk to you at the start of the broadcast. Brandon Atkinson and Justin Coleman both ineligible to be part of the redraw, but you may ask, well, why did they go out and qualify? Well, there are important qualifying points on the line, so every driver does get a chance to go out and put down a lap, and those two drivers will be moving to the rear of the field in tonight's Ridge Runner 125, Kelly, and that's going to look like it's going to do it for qualifying. So Dylan Connor, your fastest man in practice, fastest man here in qualifying, and now we'll have to go to the J&D Farms top 8 redraw. Well, and don't be looking up what J&D Farms is. It's just a good man that wanted to be a part of the broadcast. See his name here on the broadcast, and we take and admire that here as we get ready to go to find out who is going to qualify where here tonight in the J&D Farms top 8 redraw. As we get everybody moving and jostling around there, we will head down trackside momentarily to talk to our first driver of the evening, and that will be the driver of the number 90, the fastest man here tonight, Dylan Connor, who set fast time with a time of 14.397. You got a fast hot rod, Dylan. Is it going to translate into possibly a good run here tonight at the Hickory Motor Speedway?
I sure hope so. It felt really good right there on that qualifying run, and had some good speed in the long run in practice. But yeah, trying to turn around my luck from the first week. We had good speed there, but just the race luck didn't go our way. So hopefully we can turn the race luck around this week.
All right, sir. Well, you know the drill. You've been in this long enough. Remember, if you draw the pole, you got to thank J&D Farms. If you draw the number 8, it's not our fault. We promise. All right. What number would you like? 1 through 8. What number would you like to take off the board?
I went kind of middle last week, so I'm going to go with 7 this week.
Going to go 7 this week. 7 comes off the board. And 7 is going to be P7. So we're going to move back to row number 4 here tonight. 125 laps. Can you get it done from starting 7th?
Yeah, I think so. Just going to be a big tire saving race, I think. This track's real rough and abrasive, so if we can keep the nose clean and keep the tires on it, I think we'll have a shot.
All right, sir. But we wish you the best of luck here tonight, Dylan, and we'll talk to you hopefully at the end of this one.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Dylan Connor picked up the fastest time award presented by Al's Speed Shop here tonight. Going to roll off P number 7, Kelly, as you roll down to the driver of the 54.
Yeah, catching up now with Brandon Elvis, our 3rd fastest qualifier of the night, but our 2nd to take to the redraw. And Brandon, how has the car been handling here for you tonight?
Not the best, a little bit on the free side, but I think try not to over adjust myself to make it too tight, just with brakes and offset and stuff, just because I know once we start getting tires on and the track starts rubbering up a lot during the race, I think it'll start tightening up on us. So I think it's going to be okay for the race.
All right, well, the number 7 has been taken already, but other than that, the choice is yours. The pole is still out there.
Oh, man. Let's go with the number 4.
Taking the number 4 off the board. You're going to slide back a little bit. It is going to be an outside row starting spot, P6 for you tonight. Do you still think you can get it done from there?
Oh, yeah, I think we can get it done from there. I think my only win in this series came from right outside on the 3rd row, so maybe we can get it done tonight.
Well, if you've done it before, maybe you can do it again, and maybe that will be a lucky starting spot for you, but we'll see a little bit later on. Hopefully we'll talk to you later. Good luck to you, Brandon.
All right, thanks, guys.
So Brandon Elvis draws P number 6 tonight, Al.
That he does. We're moving right along down here to, I'm going to ask this man what he was thinking. The driver of the Austin Designs car number 2. Brian, are you a superstitious person?
Probably going to say something about me having a green car, but it's not Kelly green, it's lime green, so you can leave it at the door.
All right. Well, I'm just saying green on race cars is historically not good luck unless you're Harry Gant.
Well, he did all right for himself, didn't he?
He sure did. I think, how you think you're going to do for yourself here tonight at Hickory? This is a tough little racetrack.
It is, and historically I've been okay here, but it's certainly not my favorite track, so honestly just hoping to survive tonight. If we get a top 10 and have a little drama, I will be thrilled.
All right. Well, the numbers 4 and number 7 are out of the bucket. The good news is the pole is still available out there. What number would you like here tonight?
Let's take number 5.
Number 5 comes off the board, and you're going to slide back outside row number 4. P number 8 here for you tonight. Can you? What's it going to take to be patient but also aggressive to get towards the front?
That's what it's going to be about, is being patient and taking things where we can get them. We're not going to, can't force things, and got to let the race come to us a little bit from 8th.
All right, sir. Well, we wish you the best of luck here. We'll be watching that lima green number 2 car to see how you fare tonight.
Thank you.
All right, Bryan Hacker going to roll off P number 8, Kelly. The front row is available. The good news for the rest of these drivers is the back row is completed now.
Not only the back row, but the back 3 spots have been taken up by our first 3 drivers to draw numbers, and we're going to have to skip over one who has neglected to come down here for the redraw. So we're going to move along here, and I believe it is Scott Negus that will be up next. So we're going to catch up here with Scott Negus. And Scott, how has the track been seeming to you? Do you think it's going to be a very racy event here tonight, or do you think it's going to be mainly single file?
This place is usually pretty typical for one line, one groove. It's very hard to get to the outside of some of the impasse here, so I just hope a lot of people don't decide to use their front bumper to make the pass. I truly enjoy racing here, and just experiment with some different steering ratios, to be honest with you.
All right, well, good news for you. The first 3 drivers have taken the last 3 spots. So what's available to you is 1, 2, 3, 6, and 8.
Let's go with number 1.
Take number 1 off the board. Number 1 looking for number 1. It is going to be in second place. So it is still the front row, but it is the outside pole. And I'm sure you want to be down to the bottom as soon as possible. But how does the outside sound for you?
I don't mind the outside here. Like I said, it's a great track for it. It's just really tough to stay out there. So we'll give it a whirl, see what happens.
All right, we'll keep an eye on you throughout the night, and hopefully we'll see you a little bit later on. Good luck, Scott.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
So Scott Negus is the first driver to find the front row. We still have the pole available, though, Al.
Absolutely. From one Scott to another Scott, the driver of the number 5, Scott Austin. And welcome to the J&D Farms Top 8 redraw.
You grabbed the wrong Scott.
Oh, that is the wrong Scott. Hey, it happens. Here's Scott. It happens, Kelly. Scott, are you with us?
I got you.
I grabbed the right one this time, Kelly. That happens, you know.
Yep.
I mean, Scott, you make it into the top 8 redraw here tonight at Hickory. Good news for you is the back row is completed. We still have the pole available out there. What's the keys to you keeping this car in one piece here tonight?
Well, step 1 is already complete. I squeaked into the redraw somehow, so starting up front, things happen super fast here, so hopefully being up front keeps us out of some of that stuff early on, and we'll be set up for the end.
All right, so 4 numbers to choose from: 2, 3, 6, or 8. What number would you like?
We'll go 3.
3 for Dale. He does it, and it is going to be the pole. Scott Austin, you are going to lead the field to the Ridge Runner 125 to the green flag here tonight. Can you keep it up there?
We're going to give it all we got.
All right, sir. Well, congratulations on grabbing that pole position here in the J&D Farms Top 8 redraw. Best of luck. Hopefully we're talking to you at the end of 125.
Thanks, you guys.
All right, Kelly. Grabbed the wrong one, got the right one, and he grabbed the right number to get that pole position. Scott Austin taking the pole is next up. I believe you catch up with J.J. McCrae.
Yeah, catching up now with the driver of the 77, J.J. McCrae. And J.J., how are you anticipating this race to kind of turn out for you here tonight?
Hoping to get a bunch of laps in, have another good, clean race.
Well, it is a short, tight track. That is going to be a very difficult task here, but I'm sure you'll be able to keep the nose clean. But we're going to have to get your number here to figure out where you're going to be starting tonight. So the bad news is the front row has been taken. The good news is the back 3 have been taken as well, leaving a few good spots here for you. Your numbers to choose from are 2, 6, and 8. What would you like?
I'll go with 2, please.
We'll take number 2. It is going to be the second row on the outside, a P4 start for you tonight. And I'm sure you're going to be wanting to hunt for the bottom there, but how does the outside sound for the start for the night?
We'll see how it goes. Just try and save some tire and get down to the bottom if the opportunity presents itself.
All right, well, hopefully that will work out for you, and maybe we'll talk to you later on. Good luck.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, so that leaves just one driver left here to make his choice. 2 spots available for him, Al. Where is he going to go?
That is what we're going to find out. And we drag in the driver of the 23, Gary Eschen. Gary, good to see you back out here on Monday nights with the North-South Racing League here in the late model stock division. Welcome to Hickory. What's your outtake for tonight's race?
Try to save tires, I guess. It's pretty bumpy out here, so car just wants to be a little free, so hopefully we can just keep tires on it and be there at the end.
All right, sir. Well, you got a 50-50 shot of starting in the second row. The good news is the back row is complete. The worst you're going to start is 5th here in tonight's feature event. The numbers to choose from are 6 or the number 8. Which number would you like?
Let's go 8.
All right, going to go number 8 coming off the board, and it's going to be that P3 start and spot for you, Gary. Inside, okay starting spot here at Hickory. We know that this track can widen out here and put on a pretty good show.
Yeah, I think at the beginning, I think the inside is going to be where you want to be. Probably towards the end, it's going to move to the outside. But yeah, big thing's just going to be able to keep the tires on it, and hopefully we can keep it clean.
All right, sir. Well, we wish you the best of luck. Hopefully we'll be talking to you at the end of the 125 laps here tonight. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right, Gary Eschen going to roll off in P number 3. Kelly, that's going to leave Christopher Smith in the P number 5, and that'll do it for tonight's J&D Farms Top 8 redraw, as every number there has been accounted for. So just like that, it is race time for tonight's main event. We want to thank J&D Farms for being the presenting sponsor of our Top 8 redraw. Well, Kelly, that really shuffled up the field, didn't it?
Yeah, it did shuffle things up a little bit. We got some fast guys starting all the way at the back. Well, not really all the way at the back, but the back of the redraw, dropping them a little bit closer to the midfield point. So we'll have to see if those guys are going to be able to make a charge towards the front early on.
And last week's winner, Justin Coleman, you see him right there on the screen. He'll be going tail side along with the driver in front of him, the 72, after hitting that incident limit. This is your starting lineup for the Ridge Runner 125 for the Mortensen Auto Late Model Stock Series. On tonight's poll will be car number 5. It'll be Scott Austin. On the outside of him will be the double nickel of Scott Negus. Gary Eschen and J.J. McRae will make up row number 2, followed by the number 80 of Christopher Smith, making his first start of the season. Outside of him, the 54 of Brandon Elvis. Dylan Connor, your Al's Fast Times Award winner, tonight will roll off 7th, and outside of him in P number 8 will be that Bryan Hacker. Rolling off in the 11th spot will be Justin McDuff, with Dustin Shepard starting 12th.
The 13th is going to see the 21 of Jeff Bergener. Adam Gable will be starting in 14th. 15th, we have the 2 of Dan Janjanin. Josh Cole rolls off in 16th. 17th sees the 00 of Josh Nelms. Rodney Huntoon will be alongside him in the 12 car in 18th. 19th will be the 36 of Brian Troyer. Chuck Sweeting will round out the field in 20th. Oh, sorry, Robbie Clavey did make it to the grid, so he will be 21st. And then behind him will be Justin Coleman, Christopher Smith, and Brandon Atkinson.
All three of those drivers going to the tail of the field. All right, Kelly. These drivers pacing here, seeing a jam-packed Hickory Motor Speedway for their race number 2 of the Late Model Stock Series, presented by Mortensen Auto Repair. These drivers are hoping they do not need to make it there here tonight, as the field is about to go green. Green flag is up and we are underway.
Scott Austin leads the field down into turn 1. Scott Negus trying to hang on that high side. Cars scrambling behind them, trying to jockey for position. Negus trying to see if he can find that bottom, and it's not going to be there. The 23 of Eschen immediately slides into that spot, keeping a nose there just enough to keep the 55 on the high side. Look at the 54 of Elvis surging forward on the high side and a few rows back, but he cannot find a way clear of Bryan Hacker. He's now going to have to slot in behind that bright green number 2 car as Hacker slides up past the 77 of J.J. McRae.
Remember, Hacker started back in P number 7 here tonight, or P number 8, excuse me, and he as quickly has made it into the top 8, or the top 5 already, as he looks to underneath the 55 of Scott Negus. Is out front is Scott Austin in that number 5 car. Has led the first 4 circuits a little bit deeper in the field. Justin McDuff working the outside. Here comes the 21 of Jeff Bergner. Bergner usually in there as our first yellow flag comes out, as it is your race leader. Scott Austin has gone around off of turn number 2. We will have to see if there was any help with the Austin Designs finish line number 5. The car does not look beat up, Kelly, so that's probably a good sign for him. Let's take a look and see. The truck says they got it. Gary Eschen behind him down in the corner. Eschen just got through the corner a little bit better and into the rear bumper, and around goes Austin off the front bumper of the 23 of Gary Eschen.
And Eschen has claimed that caution. I'll send him to the back of the field, and that will mean Dylan Connor is going to take over the race lead. Dylan Connor started in 7th, and now 7 laps into this thing, he's already found himself at the front, along with Bryan Hacker.
I'm going to say Bryan Hacker, the row number 4 is now the first 2 drivers in a matter of 7 laps. So we know that those drivers have fast race cars. They quickly made it up through the field there. Tough break for both Eschen and the 5 of Scott Austin. I believe we are coming to the Mad Plowing Choose Cone, and your first 2 go to the inside. Scott Negus, the first driver, to the outside, as this is your Mad Plowing Choose Cone. Is the field is to choose, and if you're new to the North-South Racing Lead, this is a rule where the drivers get to choose where they would like to start. In a good way, if you get mirrored back in the back of the field, kind of go with a shorter line to be able to jump some spots here. But your top 2 cars, it seems like the bottom line is the line that's preferred right now.
Yeah, but Scott Negus is hoping for a gap to form between the 90 and the 2, where he can quickly drop himself in, get himself into that preferred line, and easily get past Bryan Hacker without having to actually pass him on the racetrack. But we'll see if that's going to work out for him. Pace truck is down and away, and there goes Dylan Connor off of the corner. Negus trying to keep himself alongside, but Bryan Hacker going to pull up to the door of that 55 car. Hacker going to hold the bottom side, and he's going to try to hang on to second place. But Brandon Elvis immediately ducks down in front of JJ McRae, and he's going to try to get underneath Scott Negus as Bryan Hacker gets slowly forward in front of that 55 car.
Absolutely, but Negus fighting back on the outside, going to be able to try to get to the bottom side, but Elvis was there to fill the gap. Look at the car on the outside making it work, though, is that 09 of Josh Cole. Cole up 9 spots from his starting spot here tonight as he works the outside of Dustin Shepard. Shepard in the DCD Zufab Garage Camaro working the bottom side to the inside as the battle for third. Still side by side is Justin McDuff and Jeff Bergner trading some paint. McDuff with that green car as well as they work off the corner. Look at last week's winner, Kelly, knocking on the door inside the top 10, just 15 laps in, and cuts quickly to the inside as he tries to attack the 20 of McDuff.
And Justin Coleman trying to move himself up the racetrack, and there is a lot of cars all over the place. Still a lot of cars on the outside. Scott Negus still hanging on the outside as well. He was just trading some paint with Brandon Elvis. They still have not decided who is going to take over sole possession of third place just yet. They have been trading that spot back and forth at the line. Right now, it is technically Brandon Elvis hanging on to the position, but Scott Negus has not backed off just yet. Just behind them, JJ McRae looking for his opening. Josh Cole waiting for an opportunity to keep moving up as well, as he took a peek to the inside of McRae there off of turn 2, but just could not quite get the run to get alongside the 77.
Yeah, McRae started back in the 9th position, currently runs in 5th, well, technically 4th. But back there inside the top 5 as that battle in front of them settles it out, and they are now single file for your first, almost through the whole entire field right now.
Yeah, Dustin Shepard missing the corner there a little bit, went high. It looks like he may have been trying to see if the inside would check up and he could try to sail along the high side, but nothing doing there. Now Josh Cole taking a look to the inside of 77. This time he is going to get to the door of JJ McCrae, and Josh Cole continuing to try to work his way up through the field. He is up 11 spots if he can finish this pass here right now. Not quite going to have it at the line. Still JJ McCrae, but JJ going high in the turn. And just behind them, Jeff Bergner taking a look to the inside of Dustin Shepard. Bergner trying to force that 21 car down there on the inside line, but Shepard was able to hold strong and hang on to the position.
That they are right there. Coleman up the racetrack is both Cole and McRae's trying to settle it out there. A little bit of paint swapping between those two, a little bit more. If we had door marks in iRacing, that 09 car would have it all on the right side. And as I was growing up, the right side to have tire marks is the right side. That means you're passing cars. You ever hear that, Kelly? That if you had tire marks on the right side of the car, that means you're fast.
I mainly race open wheel cars. If you have tire marks, you are probably very lucky to not be in the wall.
That or in the helicopter on the way to the hospital. How about Scott Austin making his way back up through the field? He works underneath the 20 of Justin McDuff, and he's bringing along with him the 23 of Gary Eschen. Chris Smith in that 80 car also working his way up through the field in his first start of the season. Meanwhile, they're all getting stacked up. Josh Cole and the 77 of McRae trying to figure out who wants to be in that 5th spot. Right now, McRae has it. And you see Cole just starting to get a little bit loose on that inside lane. That's got to be starting to get warming up. I think we're going to start seeing some drivers migrating as Cole slams the outside wall.
Yeah, Cole hit the wall pretty hard there, but looks like he still has pace, still able to hang on to that position on the high side as the 89 of Shepard tried to make a move. Cars are getting really stacked up and started battling each other. Oh, another car hard into the wall. That was Justin Coleman, last week's winner, who has been charging up through the field, has got himself up to 9th and is now battling side by side with Brandon Atkinson, but he tagged the wall hard off of 2, and I think that's what you mentioned at the start of the night. Watch for turn 2 and watch for cars getting up into the wall there, as that is going to be the space where drivers are going to be trying to knock it down.
At the iron right now, Coleman a little bit slower than our race leaders, but that doesn't surprise you as he is in lap traffic, and he is battling with Jeff Bergner, and Bergner looking pretty good early on in this one as they work down the front stretch. As they all work here, Connor still leads over Hacker, Elvis, Negus, and McRae. Those drivers have settled it out single file as we watch the battle for the 8th position as Jeff Bergner. I don't know what to do with myself, Kelly, because I'm not used to a non-chrome car.
Yeah, Jeff Bergner usually in that chrome machine this week, adding a little bit of color to that 21 car and making it a little bit easier to spot him out on the racetrack with that nice bright yellow numbers that he's got on his roof there. But he just lost the position to Justin Coleman. Now Brandon Atkinson is all over him in that 72 machine. Just behind them is the 5 of Scott Austin, recovering well from that spin that he just had. He's now got himself up into 11th and is knocking on the door of a top 10.
Yeah, Austin with a nice recovery. He did have Gary Eschen in tow with him. Eschen has kind of lost touch with the 5 car at the moment as he runs there behind the 20 of Justin McDuff. As you see Atkinson right to the back bumper of Bergner. We heard it in the redraw about being patient, whether the front bumper would be used. If you're getting stacked up and that front duo starts to continue to pull away from you, when do you start using that, that front bumper, the chrome horn? That's the question. We will find out as they all work around here as you watch the 72 of Atkinson running in the 10th spot. A little bit deeper in the field. How about Josh Nelms in that 00? Started 17th, currently sits there, but that driver knows how to take care of his stuff. I guarantee you at the end of this one, he will be up in contention for a top 5 right there behind him. The 75 of Chuck Sweeting. Dan Janjanin had a great run going 1 week ago. Got caught up in someone else's mess as he gets a little bit sideways up off of turn number 4.
21 gets turned. And I think we're going to have another caution, and it's unfortunately going to be Scott Austin getting turned once again. And I think that all started with Jeff Bergner getting tagged, I think, by the 72 of Atkinson. And the field was just way too tightly packed for really anyone to do anything at that point.
The check up, I bet you that's what's going to happen. We see that 72 of Atkinson was battling the 21 of Bergner. And there's a little bit of contact there. Oh, and Chris Smith did not see what was going on in front of Scott Austin. And unfortunately, Austin is going to be the recipient of going through the spin cycle. But as we come back to live pictures here, everybody coming down pit road except for Justin McDuff stayed out that time. It looks like he'll be coming the pit road along with Sweeting. So it looks like everybody going to take this time to come down pit road.
Yeah, and I think that's going to shake things up a little bit here as McDuff did come down into the pits.
Looks like
and we're going to have to wait until after the choose cone to see who can... yeah, it's not seeing a timing and scoring that McDuff came down in the pits, but I saw him down on pit road. He's being shown as behind the 80 car of Smith, and I think he's coming back down pit road now. So do not know what's happening with the 20, and I think we're gonna have to wait until after the choose cone to figure out what our actual running order is right now.
Yeah, it looks like that is happening. I'm not sure if is it happening this. This is getting all jumbled up there. Going to keep the yellow lights on around the speedway. Right now it is showing Bryan Hacker as the race leader with timing and scoring. So we'll let it all get situated. Looks like Bergner going to come back down. It looks like McDuff had possibly missed his pit stall. And now is going to find himself trapped on pit road, and looks like the lights have come back out. Through all that confusion, Kelly, not sure, did they make it to the choose cone presented by Mad Plowing?
I think they did, and it looks like Dylan Connor on the inside, Hacker on the outside for your first row, followed by Brandon Elvis and the 9 of Cole in that second row.
Mad Plowing is tonight's choose cone sponsor and is your go-to landscaping company in Oregon, Wisconsin, specializing in snow removal during the winter months, which are hopefully behind us. And now we look forward to the green grass and the mowing services that they provide all summer long. Whether it's clearing your driveway or keeping your lawn pristine, they've got you covered. 608-217-3528. Pace truck down and away and into the Mortensen Auto Repair restart zone, and we are back underway, and a good start by Connor. Looks like that Rodney Huntoon waiting for the field to pass before he gets back out onto the racetrack.
Drivers now dealing with cold tires, possibly mismatched wear as well. Some drivers maybe only took 2 tires on that last stop. So now drivers having to adjust the change of driving dynamics. Brandon Elvis and Josh Cole battling hard for 3rd place, swapping paint through the corners. And now the 9 of Josh Cole going to get up into the wall, going to have to recover from that. But he's going to find a spot to slot into right behind Brandon Elvis. Not going to stay down, though. I don't know if he missed the corner, if he was trying for the high side, but he is going to be able to carry enough speed to keep ahead of the 55 of Negus, who is continuing to battle side by side with Dustin Shepard.
Yeah, Cole has been on the outside this whole race. Now we'll switch it to go to the bottom side, painting that yellow line through turns 3 and 4. But Cole really made a lot of his ground up in this race here tonight, working the outside of the speedway. Is right there behind him. How about Scott Negus? He's underneath Dustin Shepard, Brandon Atkinson, and Justin Coleman inside the top 10 after having to start in shotgun on the field due to the EOLs. One for a win and one for an incident limit max here last season at the season opener at Irwindale, excuse me. As they work there, Dustin Shepard, Negus still there, door to door, wheel to wheel. Oh, Shepard into the outside wall. But he's got about 3/4 of an advantage over Scott Negus as they work off turn number 4.
Negus dumping down into the apron there, and that's going to upset the balance of the car coming off of the corner, and that's going to give an opportunity for Atkinson on the high side. He is going to pull up alongside the 55 of Negus. And I think at the line he'll be scored ahead of Scott Negus, who's trying his best to hang on to the bottom, but that 72 car has been flying all night, been making his way up through the field, and is now finding himself ever so much closer to a top 5 position, but he still has to get clear of the 55. Then he's going to have to run down the 89 of Shepard.
That he is. They work down through 3 and 4. Josh Nelms working there. Couple cars caught 1 lap down. We got 14 cars on the lead lap as the pit stops, catching some drivers down a lap. So they're hoping for one of our mad plowing yellow flags of the race as they work through the corner here. How about that 00 of Josh Nelms up into the 12th spot as he races with first time runner this season, number 80 of Chris Smith, and Smith up the racetrack. Sweeting right there behind him. He's trying to stay out of any trouble as he would be the recipient of the free pass if he were not to be involved, as he'll be racing the 20 of Justin McDuff for that free pass spot as Smith gets a little bit sideways trying to make a move on the 00. A little bit closer to the front though. Coleman settling in there behind Atkinson. Everybody kind of single filing it south. Gary Eschen with a nice recovery as he sits inside the top 10.
Yeah, Gary Eschen trying to continue to climb back up towards the front of the field. Finds himself in the top 10 once again, but still has to get past a few more cars to get back to the spot where he was earlier on tonight. Now got the 77 of JJ McRae in his sights as McRae nearly gets the wall. May have just gently brushed it right underneath the flag stand there, but no damage done to that 78-7 machine. And starting to wonder how many cars have maybe knocked the right front toe out a little bit, as I just saw the 55 of Negus get a little bit loose off of turn 4.
Yeah, the drivers did say the cars were a little bit free to handle here. You see a good shot there of that back straightaway where it is a little bit not as straight as you would think as they all work here through turns 1 and 2. Yeah, everybody's single file. Connor about a half-second lead over Bryan Hacker as they all come down here through the corner. Hacker trying to make some ground, but he's watching the rear view mirror with newcomer Brandon Elvis, a rookie this season in that 54 car. Runs there in P number 3. The Coastal Performance, car number 54, trying to make something happen. Josh Cole runs in 4th. How about Cole this season, Kelly? Been pretty sporty early on in the early parts of this season. Finds himself inside the top 5 yet again.
Yeah, and he's running fairly well here tonight, but you cannot solidify any driver's position here as we have just recently passed the halfway point. Still a lot of racing, and we have seen already how chaotic it can get here at the Hickory Motor Speedway. And all it takes is a car getting loose, car getting tight, maybe someone tagging the wall, and we could have a number of cars junked.
Absolutely. It looks like Jeff Bergner having some issues with the 21. As he is down on pit road for a lengthy stop so far. So tough break for a driver that was pretty quick early on here. Christopher Smith up to the 12th spot. Has finally gotten around the 00 of Josh Nelms. And he'll set eyes on a veteran in 91 of Adam Gable. As Gable runs there behind the 23 of Gary Eschen. And everybody kind of minding their own P's and Q's right now. Scott Austin back in the 14th spot, but finds himself mirrored behind a couple lap cars, separating himself in cars for position. And this one clicking away fairly quick, Kelly. already closing in on lap 75 of tonight's scheduled 125.
Yeah, these laps are going by quickly, and we've got a little bit of chaos here in the field. Scott Negus looks like he may have made a mistake. JJ McCrae is gone around, and Gary Eschen now making a move to the high side of that 55 car. So Gary Eschen trying to continue his charge to the front. Adam Gable watching right behind, trying to see if he can find himself an opportunity to make a move as well. Just in front of them, looks like Brandon Atkinson is taking a look underneath Dustin Shepard, but Shepard able to hang on that high side while the 41 of Justin Coleman also looking to make a move.
Yeah, looking there, it looks like Negus' car off pace a little bit, maybe dropping a cylinder on that 55 car as he is pinned to the inside. Everybody's kind of migrated up to that second lane, a little bit of a lengthy run now. Heat building in the surface of this racetrack, and that inside lane might be slicking up just a little bit where these drivers are migrating up the racetrack. We'll see that groove continually to wide up. You got to watch those marbles being peeled off these Hoosier Racing tires. You get up in that could be trouble, as looks like Dan Janjanin had a little bit of an episode. He's now down on pit road, so a tough break for the number 2 car as Rodney Huntoon runs 19th.
And the struggles continue for Scott Negus. Christopher Smith just passed him, and now here comes Josh Nelms on the high side as he will get around the 55. As we just saw a car call it for the night, that is going to be Jeff Bergener. He was already 14 laps down, but he is going to be done. He has pulled it behind the wall. So that will mean the 21 will finish in 21st here tonight.
The battle shaping up between your 2 lucky dog drivers as Scott Austin tries to find a way around him. Justin McDuff will lay over and let the 5 on by. You get back on there and hopefully capitalize when Austin gets to the 75 of Sweeting. Those 2 drivers, the 20 and the 75, are battling for the free pass if we were to get our 3rd mad plowing yellow flag of the evening. Meanwhile, up front, Dylan Connor starting to open up a little bit of a gap. Lap traffic dead ahead of him, though, as it is Connor over Hacker, Elvis, Cole, and Shepard inside the top 5. About 0.8 of a second separating your top 2. First car to come up on will be the 12 of Rodney Huntoon. Huntoon already down 1 lap to their leaders as they work there. Huntoon and Clavey. The 2 cars right there in front of Dylan Connor. Connor's out front has led a race high 77 laps of the 85 completed here tonight.
Yeah, took over the race lead on our first caution and has basically held it since then, except for when we had a little bit of a shuffle of the order during the pit stop. So it has been a solid night for the 90 of Dylan Connor with an 8/10, nearly 9/10 of a second lead over Bryan Hacker now. So he has just been cruising along, but drivers that are still fighting for position. Brandon Atkinson still trying to hold off Justin Coleman. Meanwhile, JJ McCrae has been looking for an opportunity, but I think he just got loose off of 2. Here comes Eschen down on the bottom. Eschen going all the way onto the apron, but he's going to be slow coming off of the corner. And even though it was just a short run into turn 1, McCrae was able to get a good run on the high side. He's able to carry a lot of speed on that top, but has not quite cleared that 23 car, who's going to get on the apron once again and going to push the 77 up the racetrack.
Yeah, these drivers really starting to put it all on the line, closing in on 35 laps to go here tonight. Gary Eschen works that bottom lane, can't quite do anything with him though that time as they all work here. That is the battle here. And Kelly, I don't know if you've noticed it or not, but the outside lane continually getting pushed up the racetrack, almost up to the 3rd or the 2nd row of dashed lines around this racetrack, and they are doing a lot of driving here, moving up here, and that outside lane seems to be the preferred lane right now as Connor is starting to navigate his way through lap traffic, and doing so has even put more ground between himself and the 2 of Bryan Hacker.
Yeah, and every car that he passes now is going to be one that Bryan Hacker is going to have to deal with, and that is only going to cause the gap to increase even more. It is up over a second, nearly 1.1 here. And I'm just seeing Scott Negus is turning things around. He's starting to charge back up to the field, just got around Josh Nelms, now to the inside of Gable. Just in front of them, there's also a bit of a battle as Dustin Shepard just tagged the wall. He just got passed by JJ McCrae, and now Gary Eschen is going to get past him. Christopher Smith trying to see if he can capitalize as well right before Justin Shepard can regroup here, but Shepard's going to try to hold on the high side, has built his momentum back up, and is able to get back around the 80. Just behind them, Scott Negus was able to get past Adam Gable, and now Gable is going to have to deal with Josh Nelms, who's trying to get around him, and Scott Austin trying to recover from the 2 spins that he's had tonight, trying to move himself up from 14th.
Had a tough break for tonight's pole sitter. Started on the front row, led the first few laps there. As Gable gets used up the racetrack, that's going to allow Austin by into the 13th spot. Austin still on the attack, trying to find a way around a 0-0 of Nelms. Christopher Smith putting some pressure to Dustin Shepard as they work here into turns 3 and 4. How about JJ McCrae on the attack as he works underneath the 72 of Brandon Atkinson. Atkinson currently runs in the 6th spot. Here comes the 7 of McCrae. JJ McCrae been with us for the first 2 seasons, the street stocks and the stock cars. Now finds himself in the late model stocks, and he's shown some promise early on in this season as he works underneath the 72 of Atkinson. Coleman, though, going to crack the top 5 for the first time here tonight as he works underneath the 09 of Josh Cole. That's the battle for the 4th spot. So Coleman, remember last week's winner, trying to make it back-to-back wins. This season, he's got some ground to make up, some 4.6 seconds to your race leader with just 25 laps to go. Kelly, I think it's safe to say he might be needing a mad plowing yellow flag to make up that ground.
Yeah, he will, but here comes JJ McCrae. He's going to get around Brandon Atkinson and now gets the inside of Josh Cole with those drivers all moving up the racetrack. Oh, big slide from the 72. He's able to save it, but it looked like he was going for the wall for a moment, but he's able to recover. Good catch from Brandon Atkinson.
Atkinson able to hold on to that one as he works the bottom side of the racetrack. Now up into the corner, out to the door, is Atkinson and the 09 of Cole. That's going to allow the 23 of Eschen to get to the outside. So now Atkinson to the bottom, Cole right to the back bumper, as that was some contact off of turn number 2. I believe Atkinson may have gotten loose underneath Cole. And now Cole up the racetrack and into the outside wall. It's the 80 of Smith having the check up. Negus right there as well. Gary Eschen and Atkinson side by side. That's the battle for the 6th spot.
And Josh Cole dropping further back as Christopher Smith is able to get around him. Scott Negus now looking to move up as well as he gets to the inside. Gary Eschen and Brandon Atkinson, though, still battling out for 6th place. Eschen on that high side. We've seen it get a little bit more pace, but as everyone had moved up the racetrack, looks like the heat went up there and the inside cooled off and allowed the inside to start to gain some speed once again. So drivers now searching all over the racetrack, trying to feel out where the grip is, where the speed is on the racetrack, and it looks to be the bottom side right now as Atkinson gets himself ahead of the 23 of Eschen. But now he's going to cross him up off of turn 2. Eschen now to the inside into the turn 3.
Eschen down to the inside, rolls the bottom of 3 and 4. It is the 72 of Atkinson with the momentum on the outside of the speedway, and all this happening right there in front of Smith and Negus as the 2 cars still rage war. Best battle on the racetrack is between these 2. Everyone else pretty much single filing it out. How about the number 5 of Scott Austin? Look at that timing and scoring. Austin back inside the top 10 after 2 spin cycles here tonight. Able to crawl back to a top 10. Would like to get more out of that number 5 car, but Kelly, I think you'd be pretty happy with a top 10 after how his night has gone here in just about 30 minutes of racing.
Yeah, dropped to the back of the field twice from spins. Now got himself back up into the top 10. But right now, our biggest mover is going to be Josh Cole, still up 5 spots. Josh Nelm's trying to tie him here as he moves to get alongside and try to get past Adam Gable. And if he can clear him, the next driver for him will be the other Josh of Josh Cole.
Yeah, Josh Cole up there trying to make some ground, kind of just riding by himself in the 11th spot, like you alluded to. This time by, it'll be 11 laps to go for your race leader of Dylan Connor. When he hits the stripe, it'll be 11 laps to go. Lap traffic in front of him, Dustin Shepard falling from the top 5 all the way back to 14th. The handling going away on 89 as he's desperately looking for a yellow flag, and with how hard these drivers are racing back here, he might get it. Negus gets crossed up inside the move for Scott Austin. That's the battle for the 9th spot. Austin down to the inside, able to hold on to it. He will take the spot away from Negus. Now goes on the attack, trying to get by Gary Eschen for the 8th spot.
Yeah, it looks like Scott Austin had just been saving his tires early on in this run and is now starting to just unleash them on the rest of the field. Charging up to the field not too long ago, he was in 14th, and now he is up into 8th as he is nearly clear of Gary Eschen now. And he's going to try to keep climbing through the field here as we get towards the end of this race. Eschen way up the track, may have caught the marbles, catches the wall just a little bit, but he's able to keep going. Eschen, though, is going to have to drop behind Scott Negus as they go around some lap traffic.
Yeah, they're working around the 73 of Robbie Clavey with the RC2 Graphic Solutions 73 car. Clavey running in the 19th spot here tonight as he works around the Hickory Motor Speedway. As they all work here, Adam Gable and Dustin Shepard have gone down 1 lap to the rears of this man, the 90 of Dylan Connor. He's going to see the high 5. 5 laps to go for Dylan Connor. He's got a 3-second lead over Bryan Hacker. He wants to see this thing go green to the end. Will it happen in the next 4 laps?
I think even if a caution does come out, I mean, Bryan Hacker just does not have anything for this 90 car. Dylan Connor has been flying all night long. It was one of our fastest in qualifying. Had to drop a little bit back through the virtue of the redraw. Immediately charged to the front of the field, and he has been untouchable ever since.
On board with him as he works through 1 and 2 and down the back stretch. The driver of the number 90, he will get 2 laps to go here at Hickory, this time by 2 to go for Dylan Connor. Hacker back there safely in the number 2 spot. Brandon Elvis starting to feel some pressure from Justin Coleman as he can see him right in his sights, but does he have enough time to get there as the white flag comes out? The final trip around for the Ridge Runner 125.
Coleman actually has to worry about JJ McRae. He's actually closed up a little bit. McRae in a top 5, but wanting more. But Dylan Connor coming off of turn 4. He is going to dominate the night, and he will take home the checkered flag for the Ridge Runner 125.
Coleman holds on for 4th. McRae with a charge to 5th. Atkinson 6th. How about Scott Austin with a nice rebound to a 7th place start? Not what he was looking for, I am sure. But after the night that he's had, that number 5 will probably take a 7th place finish. A nice rebound. I think he gets probably the most cars passed here tonight. Would you say so, Kelly?
I would think so. I mean, he dropped to the back of the field from the first caution, charged up past the midway point, got dropped to the back again, getting spun, and then charged up once more. So that number 5 car was a fighter here tonight.
Dylan Connor going to take the Grey Goose Kryptonite race car number 90 to victory lane to become our 2nd different winner of the young season. Justin Coleman picked up the win 1 week ago, and now we will have Dylan Connor in victory lane as we head down for tonight's post-race show presented by SimRacerHub.com, and that is where the place where leagues keep it organized, from schedules to rosters, stats, and standings. SimRacer Hub makes running a league simple so drivers can focus on racing. If you're looking to track your league the easy way, check out SimRacerHub.com, the official post-race show sponsor of the North-South Racing League. Well, Kelly, 35 minutes to get this one done here tonight, and it was a good, quick, easy one for us. I will say these drivers worked it off, and we'll kick it off with talking to the driver of the 90 of Dylan Connor.
Wow.
Dylan, you took and set the fast time in qualifying. You drew the 7th in the J&D Farms Top 8 redraw, and now you're going to come home with the victory here tonight, leading the most laps at Hickory. It looked easy from our viewage point, but was it as easy as it looked?
Oh man, honestly, these races are never easy. The competition in here is top notch, and you just being on my toes all race long. I was really glad that we had the long runs, because from practice I felt like we had really good long run speed, so I was afraid of getting too many cautions and that coming back to bite me. But being able to have that track position and keep that nose clean and save the tires really helped a whole lot.
You're able to really stretch out that lead. Did you know how big of a lead? Was your spotters talking to you, coaching you through that? You had some lap traffic you had to work through. How tricky is that when you're in your groove, you're focused, and you come up on some guys that are maybe having a little bit of an off night for themselves that you have to work around?
Yeah, it's definitely it's an experience for sure. Some places it all depends on the track, but I give huge shout outs all the time to my dad. He spots for me, and he let me know with about 15 to 20 to go right there that Bryan was starting to close, and we was going to have some lap cars to just go ahead and pick up the pace. That way we have more time to work through the lap cars. And luckily all the lap cars, they were having an off night. They knew it, so they kind of got up out of the groove and got out of the way, and that helps a whole lot. But yeah, it helps a whole lot. You got somebody in your ear letting you know what's going on.
Definitely does here tonight. The good news is you're going to be our second different winner of the season. You're going to pack this up, put it in the box, and travel back out west to the Kern County Raceway, or I guess that's Kevin Harvick's Kern County Raceway now. Have you had a lot of races there? What do you think as we head to the West Coast? You're going to have to start at the back of the field next week. How difficult is that going to be?
It's going to be a challenge for sure. It's going to be one of those tracks. It's easily, double groove track. You can run the top and bottom. So, I feel like you're going to get to points in the race where guys are going to be racing in front of you side by side, and you really just don't have nowhere to go until, they get sorted out. So it'll be a challenge from the rear, but hopefully we can have a strong piece like we did tonight and make our way through there.
All right, sir. Well, man, you did a great job here tonight. You lead in the most laps. You pretty much won every category here tonight. Talks measures to this race team and who makes it all possible for it.
Yeah, I just got to thank Chris and Alan Perrier with Caldwell Banker Elite. Always been a big sponsor of mine in real life and on here. My dad always for all the support and the spotting for me. Connor Racing, my family and friends for all the support watching me on the broadcast. And yeah, hopefully we can carry this momentum for next week.
All right, sir. Well, congratulations on the win here tonight. Well deserved. We hope to be seeing you next week at Kern. Travel safe out west, and we'll talk to you then.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Dylan Connor gonna come home, Kelly. He sounded calm and cool, but he was drenched down here. He's gonna have some of that Grey Goose on that hood, and he's gonna have a good night here.
Yeah, I'm sure he will, but we're going to have to keep moving along here and pick up our second place finisher here in the night. It is going to be Bryan Hacker. And Bryan, position-wise, it seemed like you were just cruising there in second place, but out on the racetrack, it looked like there was a lot of traffic. What was it like dealing with all the lap cars?
Yeah, the lap cars played nice tonight, which is nice to see. So not too big of a deal. I most of the time when I got to somebody, if I got to their inside and got to their door, they would just let me go. So appreciate that. That's courteous, clean, good league racing. So, but yeah, I mean, none of us had anything for Dylan tonight. That guy was just on a different planet.
You were talking at the beginning of the night how you were just hoping to survive, and this wasn't a great track for you, but you still managed a second place. Did the car kind of come to you towards the end of this race?
No, probably did the opposite. I didn't feel very good at the end of those runs, but I feel like a second place for me here is a win. So I'm gonna happily take this second place with no drama this week and put it in the bank and head on off to the next one.
Well, that next one is going to be at Kern County Raceway. What are you expecting from that track?
It's all right. It's high speed, high banked, not a lot of off throttle time there. We'll see. I think the biggest question for me is not the track. It's if I'm going to be able to make it or not. So I got a couple big newsworthy things happening in the life here this week. So we'll see if I'm around next Monday.
All right, well, we'll be waiting for you, hoping that you will come out and see us once again. But before we let you go, who would you like to thank for your second place run tonight?
Well, first off, big kudos to Dylan for kicking our asses and making sure that we all know that he's probably the fastest guy in here. Shout out to everybody that came out tonight. Good car count. 2 yellows on a track like this is pretty good. It's easy to get caught up in stuff here. Scott Austin Designs, he had a pretty good effort to get back up to the front. Finishing 7th is pretty good when you have to go to the rear like that and get caught up in a few different things. You can tell your buddy Al that the green car wasn't bad luck tonight. He's just he might be superstitious. I'm just a little stitious. Aberdeen Lodge, Boulder Beer Bar, Carbon Junction, the guys that put this league on. You guys for coming up and doing this. All the league sponsors that make it possible. Those are the real guys that we've got to thank. I think it's Arbor Tree Systems, J&D Farms, Mad Plowing. I know I'm missing a couple of them. I don't have the list in front of me, but appreciate those guys. And yeah, we'll see what the rest of the season brings.
All right, well, thanks for coming out and talking to us, Brian. Hopefully we will hear from you next week, but if not, I'm sure we'll be seeing you again very soon.
Thanks, guys.
So Bryan Hacker fights off the curse of the green car and is able to bring home a second place finish, Al.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I just saying that they always say don't have a green race car. That's all I'm saying, Kelly. No shade. He proved us wrong. Had a good run. Car number 2 finishes P number 2. Now we're going to catch up with a driver with no green on his car, and he's going to come home in that 3rd place here tonight. And a rookie on the season, Mr. Brandon Elvis, rolls into the post-race show presented by SimRacerHub.com. And Brandon, I tell you with a lot of these rookies in the field here this season for the North-South Racing League's Mortensen Auto Repair Late Model Stock Series, showing speed here tonight. How satisfying is that to come into a new league and be able to mix it up and race as hard as these guys race week in, week out?
Well, it's not necessarily a new league. I've raced against these guys in the street stock deal, and we did good. Had a win in that, and had some good luck with those guys. These guys are hard racers, and it's fun. That's why I come back and run with them. But yeah, I'm satisfied. Dylan there, he was a class of the field tonight. Him and I have been pretty strong competitors on here, on iRacing in general for the last couple of years, and it's always fun racing with him and seeing him have success like that. So he was dominant tonight, and Brian did a great job too, holding on to P2 there. We really didn't have nothing for Dylan here tonight.
Yeah, Dylan definitely in the class of the field here tonight. But hey, not too shabby. Started back in P number 6, and you're gonna come home with a top 3 finish. And you had to race some guys that were really fast behind you, pressuring you, and to get up through there. and then the racetrack itself seemed to change multiple times throughout the night. How difficult is that as a driver behind the seat to, not only have to chase the racetrack, find that grip, but also fend off some fast drivers behind you?
Yeah, really. You do what you can out your front windshield and hope everybody else is just doing what they can, and you hope that you're doing a little better than they are. It's really all it was tonight. Just I know that my buddies Atkinson and Coleman, they had to come from the back, and their stuff was probably used up a little more than mine was, but they were still pretty quick there at the end. We knew the track was going to be kind of hot and greasy, and it was kind of starting off free and then kind of trending tight. And then both right sides were just really hot, so it was really just trying to search around and find some kind of grip on exit there. But yeah, it was easier to have the trap position and then just try to hold on to it than it was to have to worry about fending them guys off. Just let them kind of burn their stuff up.
Absolutely, but nothing to shake a stack it. A top 3 here tonight at Hickory Motor Speedway, which I find is a very difficult racetrack in itself, yet alone with some of the best late model stock drivers on the service in this league week in and week out. Next week we head back out west for our West Coast swing to the Kern County Raceway. Good racetrack for you, indifferent? What's your thoughts headed out to Kern after week number 2 is complete?
I feel like I've had some success there. If it's the setup, the iRacing setup that we're going to be using, car's probably going to try to get tight on us. So managing the right front tire and making sure you don't burn it off too soon is going to be pretty key there. Just finding the right groove to run, I think helps a lot there. But track position is going to be key again. So if you can be like Dylan there and get out front, you could pretty much control your own destiny.
All right, sir. Before we let you go, we'll roll out the red carpet. Who makes it all possible for this race team to be here talking to us tonight?
Well, I just first want to say hello to my family that's watching. Unfortunately, we lost my mother yesterday, so it's been a pretty tough go. It was fun to get back here and get on the sim and just kind of get my mind off things for a little while. And just shout out to my team, Brandon Atkinson, Justin Coleman, and Chris Smith was with us tonight. Coastal Performance, my setup shop, which is we do a lot of open setup stuff. Barry Ellis Performance and Fab, Chestnut Hill Restaurant, Coleman Design, my team at ECR, just all my family and friends that have tuned in tonight.
All right, sir. Condolences to you and your family, and a great run here tonight. Hopefully you were able to take some time and ease that mind for a little bit and had some fun here tonight. Stay well. If you need anything, don't hesitate to reach on out, my friend, and congratulations on a 3rd place finish.
I appreciate it, and thanks to Robbie and all the guys at North-South League and all you guys at Turn 3. And the series sponsors are slipping my mind right now, and I'm sorry about that, but thanks to those guys as well. Without all them, it wouldn't be possible for us to get on here and do this, so thank you.
All right, there you go. Tonight's 3rd place finisher, Kelly, with a heavy heart, Brandon Elvis, and our thoughts and prayers to the Elvis family in this tough time there.
Yeah, definitely going to be tough for the 54 of Brandon Elvis, but a good run from him here tonight to finish in 3rd. Dylan Connor, though, is just put the hurt on the field. I mean, he was untouchable the entire night. That is going to be good for his point standing. He's going to get himself into the hunt here after these first 2 races, but we're going to be looking ahead to Kern County Raceway, and I'm going to be excited to go to that one. And the big thing here is there's nothing here saying what layout it is. Maybe they'll surprise these drivers and throw them on the dirt track.
Hey, that would be something. Do they have dirt tires for the late model stocks?
Probably not.
Oh, well, maybe we can groove up these Hoosiers. I know how to do that, Kelly. I think if we pay enough money to the admins, we might be able to not make that happen.
Why not? I want to make it happen. I'll pay them to make it happen.
I want it to happen, but we just, maybe we'll start a campaign. If you want these guys on the dirt track at Kern County next week, just hit that thumbs up button down there. We'll see how many we can get, and we'll try to do our best of persuading the powers that be to make that happen. That'd be fun. I think that'd be fun to have a late model stock series race on the dirt. I really do. I think that'd be a blast. I like your idea, Kelly.
I'm full of great ideas sometimes. Sometimes.
There you go. You see where your favorite driver finished here tonight. Dylan Connor picked up the win. Bryan Hacker and Brandon Elvis, your top three. We talked to them. Justin Coleman and J.J. McCrae rounding out your top five as we take a look here next week. Like Kelly alluded to, Kern County. Well, keep our fingers crossed. Maybe we'll go dirt track racing next week, but we can't do it all here tonight for the running of the Ridge Runner 125 from the Hickory Motor Speedway for the late model stock series is presented by Mortensen Auto Repair, with the bumper-to-bumper network to provide comprehensive auto services on basic maintenance and complex repairs. Kyle and his team provide efficient and kind and reasonably priced services to residents in the Brooklyn, Wisconsin, and surrounding communities. Call them today at 608-455-3621. That's 608-455-3621 to schedule an appointment today. RC2 Graphic Solutions is your go-to source for professional graphic design specializing in the racing industry. From season schedules, event flyers, to winter graphics and social media content, they deliver high-quality designs to make your league or event stand out. Need custom graphics? Contact Robbie today at rc2graphicsolutions@gmail.com. RC2 Graphic Solutions, your events, our designs. Zoo Fab Garage will take your street car, your hot rod, and put those installations in to make your performance even better. Contact Dustin and the gang today at Zoo Fab Garage. SimRacerHub.com, where leagues go to stay organized. Arbor Systems provides residential and commercial tree removal, pruning, and plant care services in the Madison and surrounding areas. Since 2001, Arbor Systems has helped residential and commercial properties with their tree service needs. They specialize in pruning, removal, stump grinding, emergency tree work, cabling, and bracing, and the overall care of trees. Call Chris today at Arbor Systems at 608-575-5210 to get started. J&D Farms, we give them the tip of the nod here, to being a true legend of the North-South Racing League. And Mad Plowing, the proud sponsor of our Choose Cones here this season. Mad Plowing is your go-to place for all your lawn care needs in the Oregon-Wisconsin area. Give them a call today for a speedy service at 608-217-3528. Well, Kelly, that is going to do it from a jam-packed Hickory Motor Speedway here tonight, where we saw Dylan Connor go to victory lane. 2 races, 2 different winners. We will look for a 3rd different winner on the season next week as we head out west. Thank you, sir, for your time coming down here, keeping me in line, kind of, as we always have fun on Monday nights.
Yeah, we do. It's always a great time coming out here for the North-South Racing League. They put on a great show, and it's fun to have the opportunity to call the races for them. And I'll be already looking forward to next Monday at Kern.
Absolutely going to look there. We're going to do our best to lobby for you out there watching here on the Turn 3 Racing Network that we do a little bit of dirt racing, but we'll find out if any of our lobbying is actually going to be worthful or not. We'll get started on that tonight, but until then, we hope you guys enjoyed the show. Make sure you hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you have not. Get notified every time the North-South Racing League goes live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. For Kelly, I am Upstate Al. We thank you for watching here tonight, and we'll see you in Turn 3. Good night, everybody.